Time was running out. The FDA was about to approve the deadly drug of the century, thalidomide. Thalidomide was used as a sedative. It was mainly prescribed to pregnant women in the 1950s and 1960s to help with insomnia and to treat morning sickness. However, the supposed wonder drug had horrifying side effects. Children born from the wombs of mothers who had taken this drug were either miscarried or had gruesome handicaps left from the scarring poison. This deadly drug affected several countries all around the world and would be introduced into America as well if it were not for a courageous young woman who stood up for what she believed in, Frances Oldham Kelsey. Frances was born in Cobble Hill, Canada on July 24, 1914. She was born just a couple of weeks before World War I erupted in Europe. Her father was a retired British Army officer, and he returned to Britain to rejoin the army for the duration of the war. Frances was one of 4 children, 2 sons and 2 daughters. From the beginning, Frances was engrossed in education. When she saw her mother beginning to teach her older brother to read and write, Frances, who was 2 years younger, copied her brother, and soon she was reading and writing too. At her first prep school, she was the only girl attending an all-boys school for several terms. Growing older, she attended multiple colleges, McGill University, Victoria College, and University of Chicago. When she applied to the University of Chicago, her acceptance letter was addressed to Mr. Oldham. They had thought that they had accepted a man.
From there, she applied for a research post at the University of Chicago's Pharmacology Department. Her acceptance letter was addressed to Mr. Oldham. Kelsey later joked that had her name been Elizabeth or Mary Jane, her career might have ended there. Fortunately, it didn't.
When a woman took a job in those days, she was made to feel as if she was depriving a man of the ability to support his wife and child, Dr. Kelsey told the New York Times in 2010. Frances replied, saying that she would be attending. She also specified that she was a woman. At first, the professor whose group that she would later be joining, Professor Gelling, was surprised to find out that he had accepted a woman, but he welcomed her. There were few people reviewing drug applications at the FDA. One of Frances's first assignments was to review an application made by Richardson Merrill. He worked at Chemie Grunenthal, which was established in 1946 and was the company that manufactured thalidomide in Germany. Thalidomide, marketed as Kevidon, which was one of the many names it had, was advertised as a safe over-the-counter drug that you did not even need a prescription to get. In fact, many believed it was impossible to overdose on the drug. Chemie Grunenthal had even given some of its workers a sample of the drug, and one man, unknowingly, gave the sample to his pregnant wife. The first thalidomide baby was born on Christmas Day in 1956. When the William S. Merrill Company, the U.S. distributor of the drug, filed applications for the drug to be approved, the FDA assumed that thalidomide was a perfect drug since many studies had been done on its safety. For this reason, they did not put any effort into clearing the drug, as they believed that everyone would agree. However, many of the scientists assigned to thalidomide had their doubts about its functionality. In 1961, a few people had connected thalidomide to the health problems in children.
And it just so happens that my first application was for the drug thalidomide, and I got this because I was new and they thought I should have an easy one to start on.
The scientists had a discussion, not trusting the length of information present in the submission. Every new application the drug company, Chemie Grunenthal, submitted, Frances declined, not trusting the drug. This greatly slowed down the application process for the drug.
We all felt the initial submission was inadequate to show safety. There was considerable discussion, actually, back and forth about what information they might have about safety.
Kelsey described the material submitted by Merrill as an interesting collection of meaningless pseudoscientific jargon apparently intended to impress chemically unsophisticated readers. They even bribed her, eager to sell their product in another country. She knew the dark side of companies and knew the fact that the companies did not care about the well-beings of people. They just wanted to make more money. Soon after, many children in Europe were being born with damaged or missing limbs, and some mothers even miscarried. Soon, thalidomide was linked thereof to this tragedy, and the production and distribution of the drug was immediately halted. Due to Frances's strong persistence against approving thalidomide, an entire nation's generation of babies were rescued. She also changed the Food and Drug Administration's laws as to how specified the safety of a drug had to be before it could be sent for approval. Unfortunately, Frances Oldham Kelsey passed away on August 7, 2015, in her daughter's house. However, the nation must not forget how the marvels of a single determined woman changed the future for many more years to come. Even so, her impact can still be seen today. The 1962 drug amendments, also called the Kefauver-Harris Amendments, were passed to ensure consumers' protection from harmful or ineffective medications. It was signed into law by President John F. Kennedy on October 10, 1962. This amendment made major changes to the FDA. Despite all of this, thalidomide is now being used to treat a skin condition and cancer. The FDA approved it, but its distribution is restricted. If a patient used the drug, they would be required to follow a strict set of rules that were made to prevent pregnancy. The FDA wants to prevent children from having birth deformities because of the drug. Because of her hard work and dedication, Frances was awarded the President's Award for Distinguished Federal Civilian Service in 1962. This is the highest honorary award that can be given to a civilian in the United States, and she received it by President John F. Kennedy.